A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Temasek Polytechnic's Early Admission Exercise Seminar, Get Ready with TP. I'm Shania, a Year 3 student from the Diploma in Communications and Media Management.
And I'm Rohit, a Year 3 business student from the Diploma in Law and Management. And today we are pleased to be your MCs.
To begin, we would like to make a few announcements. First, please switch all electronic communications to the silent mode, please. Next, please note that you're seated according to your chosen academic school tour later today. After the seminar, kindly remain in your seats. Our friendly ushers will be there to guide you out of the TCC according to your chosen academic school. To begin, we'll be screening two important safety videos. The first is TP's fire evacuation safety video, which shows you how to exit the premises safely and quickly in the event of an emergency. The second is the SG Secure video, which shows you what to do in the event of a security incident. Everyone, please direct your attentions to the screen.
Welcome to Temasek Polytechnic. Your safety is our top priority. Before we begin today's event, here's a quick safety briefing. In the unlikely event of a fire or emergency, an alarm will sound. Please remain calm. If you're in immediate danger, evacuate. Otherwise, prepare to leave and wait for instructions from our staff or emergency personnel. When instructed to evacuate, do not run or use the lifts. Walk briskly to the illuminated exit signs and evacuate through their respective doors. They will lead you to the nearest assembly area. Please remain there in safety and await further instructions. Thank you for keeping Temasek Polytechnic a safe place for everyone.
In case of an attack, run if it's safe to do so. Quietly and stay out of sight.
Please evacuate by the nearest exit.
If you can't run, hide. Secure and move away from doors. Call the police at 999. SMS 71999 if you can't talk. Use the SG Secure app to send information. Not if, but when our response matters.
Now, to kick things off for today's seminar, we have our Deputy Principal, Ms. Anita Kwan, who will be sharing more about how you can create your best tomorrow with Temasek Poly. Ms. Kwan, please.
Is my mic on? Is my mic on? Is my mic on? Yes, yes, yes. Thanks, Rohit and Shania. And welcome to Temasek Poly. We call it TP for short. Also welcome to those who are joining us online as well as in the overflow. How many of you are here for the very first time on our campus? Okay, welcome. How many of you are TP alumni? Woohoo! Welcome home. And for those of you who are not alum, it's okay. We love you too. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to do a quick introduction. In fact, if this is your first time on campus, do have a look around because this is a beautiful campus. We've got Bedok Reservoir. How many polytechnics or institutions can say that they've got a reservoir at the backyard, right? But do have a look at it if you can. But right now, an introduction to TP. So pretty much like all the other polytechnics, and there are 5 of us all together, we're built or set up in pretty much the same way. So here in TP, we've got 6 schools, right? And you're all seated in your respective schools, and later on you will get to walk in and take a look at the actual schools, okay? A lot of diploma courses. So overall, in the whole of Singapore, we've got about 200 courses, so we can imagine how maybe confusing it might be for some of you, which is why it's great that you're here because you're able to then distinguish about on how to choose or what to choose. Chun Ling is going to talk a little bit about the common entry program, so I'm not going to dwell too much on that. What you probably would like to know is the education philosophy. Maybe some of you have gone to the other talks by the other polytechnics, which is great, because then you're able to make a decision on, hey, is TP the right place for me? So how do we explain our philosophy? Okay? It's what we call the practice-based pedagogy. Don't be scared. Pedagogy is a big word, but it's okay. Very easy to remember. This is how we go about it. I remember it as GIANT. Okay? So I'm not necessarily going through each one because this is really a snapshot of what we do. Maybe an easier way, okay, to look at this is I will use one of our students as an example of what we do, right? So the first one, GIANT, it starts with global, right? Globalization, internationalization, obviously, is a very key part of what Singapore should do. So in TP, if you look at the number of students we send out, it's a huge lot. But don't worry, we subsidize these trips, right? Because we believe that every student should have an opportunity to go abroad. Actually, I was just talking to Rohit and Shania and even Eugene here. You know, they've gone on several trips, not just one, okay? So the many types of different trips we have, like the Poland trip, is a choral competition. So CCAs are important, right? So this is a choral competition where they came back with some awards. Over in Cambodia, ComService. Now TP has a culture of care. What's the point of having lots of skills when the skills are not going to good use? So ComService, the culture of care, is something that is meaningful. Your skills are here for a reason. Go and make a difference to the community you're part of. So in Cambodia, we've taken lots of groups, Philippines as well. And the good thing about these trips, it's not a tourist trip. Of course, got a bit of shopping lah, we're not so cruel, right? But the plus point is we have institutions that we tie up with. We have industry partners that we tie up with. So when we bring these groups abroad, it's about meeting these institutions so they can do exchanges with their counterparts. And there's industry partners as well. They go and visit the companies there. Many Singapore companies are also based abroad, so our students get to talk with our counterparts there. Okay, so that's the plus point. And of course, the overseas student internship program, wow, quite shocked, right? 4 to 6 months overseas, right? And this particular one in Shanghai. Right? So many types of trips because of globalization. So the other key point that we have, I mentioned just now, industry partnerships. Right? Because our lecturers have come from industry. So the connection is still there, which means that we're able to tie up with many companies. This is just a snapshot. You might recognize some of the names there. But this is really just a snapshot of the few hundred industry partners we work with. And what do we mean when we work with them? The industry partners come, they give lectures, they sit on our advisory committees, they give us problem statements. Hey, my company needs this, you know. Can your students do it? And it's not just students, the staff, because they have come from industry, they are able to supervise and they're able to craft the problem statement so that the students can do something that's real. So this one is not play. This one is for real. And those of you who speak on PMDs, you may not be very happy with this because it was a project by our TP Engineering School and students. You see what happened? Detected non-compliant devices, so kena fine lah. Okay? But it's very real, right? What's the point of learning something in an academic setting when you can't see it being translated in real life? So this is an example of how we tie up with our industry partners. Another example, which we are growing, and in fact you may have read the news that we are increasing capacity on campus, is this. You know, we talk about our care culture. So now we're marrying our care culture, because we're walking the talk, into an assisted living facility on campus. In fact, it's just a stone's throw away, St. Bernadette's, right? The elderly live there. But the best part of this is it's a collaboration amongst several diploma programs. So we talk about gerontology, right? How do you take care of senior citizens? And this one very close to my heart, because I also want to reserve a place here, but they say, sorry, we cannot reserve place for staff. But we are a super aged population, a nation, right? By 2030, 1 in 4 are going to be aged 65 and above. So we are future-proofing this, making sure that our young people are thinking about how to manage this super aging population. So gerontology is one, nutrition is the other. Some of us who have aged parents, aged family members, we know that swallowing is quite difficult. So research is being done here to make sure that the elderly are also able to swallow properly. The nutrition is also sufficient, right? So it's all coming together. And then medical biotechnology. What are some of the gadgets that will make life easier for this aging population? So isn't it wonderful? We've got on campus, something that's very real, and it's something that we need for the future. Currently, we've got 4 rooms. We're going to increase another 2 rooms. And stay tuned for the news because we are launching many more initiatives surrounding aging, okay? So this is St. Bernadette's. And actually, it's very nice because last year we had a durian party, staff, we have our staff wellness day, we had a durian party. And we invited these people along. And it was so happy for me to see them interacting with staff, not just students, right? Okay, so in terms of partnerships, we have CIA. That's why I am my size, because cannot lose weight, a lot of good food all the time, right? The partnership with the Culinary Institute of America, right here on campus. And you've seen the many awards that have been won. So those of you who are going for the tour, you will also get to see the facility. Right. How can we not talk about this? AI. Every other day, you open up your feeds, your news, it's AI. But what do we do here in TP? I mean, obviously, we have to talk about AI because that is the current as well as the future. We were the first to, when the news of AI first broke out in terms of ChatGPT, actually we were the first poly to say that we have to buy into this. Let's find out how to do more with this, okay? So in terms of education, it's integrated across the disciplines. It's not just AI for the sake of AI, but your discipline. If you're applied science, what does it mean in your industry? If you're engineering, what does it mean at design, etc. Right? So it's integrated, it's compulsory. Cannot run away because if you leave the institution without learning about AI, then woe betide you, because the world out there has already moved very much ahead, right? So there's this exposure, and it's customized, right? And I think increasingly about AI, it's not just about the tech, but it's about the how, the judgment. How do you use AI? The ethical part of, should I be using it? Why should I be using it, right? So in terms of the how we have anchored some of this, we have set up centers which specifically looks into that, right? So Future X is one of these centers of excellence. Ideas, you probably get to have a look at it if you go to the School of Design. And even classrooms. Very easy now. Wow, in the old days, I remember when I went for my lecture, I must scribble notes and all that, right? And then after that, I cannot read my own handwriting. But now, AI can do everything for you, transcribes, should go straight into your gadget, and there you have your lecture notes summarized for you as well, right? So this is how the ecosystem plays out in TP. Okay, so some of the industry projects as well. You may have seen this if you've gone to the Peranakan Museum. Kalau boleh cakap Melayu, ini bagus sekali sebab dia cakap bot, right? Because in terms of preserving our heritage, you know that there are fewer people now able to speak the language. So this is also, when I talk about using your skills for a purpose, this is one prime example of how it can be used. And it was lovely, the students meeting up with the Peranakan community and getting their feedback to go into this bond. Okay, this is what we call the TSP. Every student who comes in, when they graduate, they would have experience as well as adapted these competencies, all right? So I'll use an example of Jun An, our engineering student. You can see that he's an award recipient. So he co-founded Dronix, which is a drone soccer club, right? Quite in thing, I understand, with the young people these days, right? So using technology. On top of that, comm service was something that was very key for him. And for those of you who come in without that comm service, sorry, it's something that we make you do because it's an important part of giving back and it's part of our care culture, right? And the flying course is what he went on to do. So when you look at it, you know, this encapsulates what we talk about learner, creator, and leader. And what we have done, starting this year, is every graduate will have a skills transcript. We really walk the talk. While you have the competencies, your domain competencies, equally important are these values, the life skills. So in that skills transcript, you have both of these. And this really helps the employer look at not just your technical competencies, but what you have done in the other aspects of life in TP. So the matching of the job becomes easier, okay? So we started it this year based on feedback from employers. What are we proud about? Wow, look at all these stories. We have people who've gone to Cambridge, but at the same time, we're equally proud of people who struggle in life, people who have special needs. We'll share with you Rachel's story. You know, she's got special needs, but on top of that, she had very, very challenging family circumstances. The house burned down, you know, at a very crucial time. But despite that, because we make sure that our students are cared for, you know, under Senvacates, what we call Senvacates, we make sure that every student succeeds, wherever your starting point is. So when we talk about pride, it's not just about the big stories, it's every single student. You are important to us, okay? So another few examples of all-round excellence and overseas internship, right? Okay, so more stories here to tell, talking about the entrepreneurship and innovative mindset that we culture here, because it's all about future orientation, about life skills. Okay, you saw me dancing in the video just now. Apologies if, you know, it looked terrible. But it's so fun to be part of CCA. And in fact, we strongly encourage everyone who joins us to join a CCA because you build your networks, you build the strongest bonds. And you know, so many people come back because they have met here on campus and they've got hitched on campus. So when they come back, they want to take the wedding photos here also. You know, so that's also part of why it's wonderful to be in Poly, okay? So join CCAs because life skills are as important as your technical domain skills, right? Building bonds, okay? Many, many, many awards. This is just a snapshot. Awards not just in the domain area, but also in CCAs, right? So we are particularly strong in sports and the arts. So we have this polite championship, right, games and all that. And TP, more often than not, scores the top of that league. And I do want to say that if you are, let's say, involved in a national sport or, you know, a national artist level event, we do support you in a way that we will try and manage your curriculum so that you have time to do your training and sometimes even compete overseas. Because if you're at that national level or international level, we do want to support you because really, life is not just about study, it's holistic education, right? So that's important to us. Okay, so I've come to the end of my segment. This will be, if you've got any questions, burning question now, scan this, but don't worry, it will come in again at the end. But if you've got burning questions, good to put your questions later for the Q&A. Okay, so I've done my part in terms of hopefully giving you a snapshot of TP, and I'm going to invite my colleague, Chun Ling, who's going to take you through, let me see, can it move? Chun Ling, why don't you come up? Okay, here is he. Chun Ling is a walking encyclopedia of everything to do with EAE. So he's going to take you through the motion, take you through the key information. And this is yours, Chun Ling. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and thank you to Anita. Just want to take a few minutes to take you all through the early admission exercise. What is it about? How do you put in the application? How do you prepare for it as you put in the application come later part of June? But before I do that, I want to just talk about the common entry programs. Many of you here, especially those in Set 4 and you're thinking of putting in the EAE application coming soon, or those in ITE final year, and you're going to put in the application, you may be thinking that I'm interested in a particular field of study, but you may not have decided as yet on which specialized area you want to move on to within that field of study. For example, if you're interested in IT, you want to join an IT course, but you have not decided whether it's going to be in cyber security, digital forensics, or is it going to be in applied AI, or is it going to be in immersive media and design? So then we have the common entry program. We have the common ICT program, where you join us for the first year. In the first year, you're doing exactly the same subjects as those in applied AI, same subjects as those in cybersecurity, digital forensics, and so on. All of the students in School of IT, Informatics and IT in the first year will do a common set of subjects to develop them in the important skills and knowledge. But that common ICT program in the first year will give you the opportunity for you to find out more about the specialized area, the career opportunities, further studies opportunities, and develop your strength in a particular area and find out your attitude as well. And then from there, you can make a better decision on which one to move on to come second year. So in the same way, if you're interested in engineering and you want more time to decide whether it's going to be in aerospace engineering, biomedical engineering, or mechatronics or electronics, and so on, come and join us in the common engineering program. Okay? Sometimes parents and students say, I need to put in my EAE application now, but I've not decided which area yet. Then, but I roughly know I want to go into engineering, for instance. Then you can put in common engineering program as your first choice under EAE. Okay? So that's the advantage of the common engineering program. So as I mentioned, it's going to give you more time for you to develop your interests, understand your interests further, develop strength in certain areas, find out your aptitude for a particular field of study. There are going to be ECG activities happening. You're going to see the training centers, industry visits, and so on. And that will allow you to make a better decision subsequently. Okay, let's get into EAE. Temasek Polytechnic, over the years, I was just sharing with my colleagues yesterday, that EAE has been around for 10 years. And from the very first year, when we took in students through EAE, and we track how well they've been doing, we find that students who come in through EAE were very clear about their interests and their attitude for a particular field of study. And because of that, when they join us, they develop their interest and their strength in that area much more. And as we see how they have grown in the 3 years of study and graduated, every year we see that in terms of academic performance, they perform as well as those who come in through joint admission exercise for the O-levels group, or they come in after their ITE studies through joint poly admission exercise. So the EAE group performed as well. But on top of that, we see a lot less attrition from the course when they come in through EAE. That means they don't drop out. They continue in the area and continue to do well. And beyond that, they continue to develop themselves and represent TP in terms of our competition locally and globally. And they managed to build up in terms of skills mastery in the particular field of study. So EAE has proven to work very well for us. And because of that, we are very, very open to taking as many students as we can find through our EAE selection process. So as you could see, 1 in 4 students join us, and that's a huge number. We're taking 4,000 students a year, so we're talking about 1,000 just from EAE alone, okay? Then we may be taking about half from JAE, then the other part could be from Polytechnic Foundation Program, the ITE, direct admissions, and so on. Certain courses, we're taking up to 50%, half of the students through EAE. For instance, early childhood education and early childhood development and education course, all our IIT, informatics and IT courses, and all of our design courses can take up to half of the students through EAE alone. Okay, so if you're interested, put in the application, and we're very glad to consider your application for EAE. Okay, what's EAE about? It has to do with looking at an aptitude and interest for applied learning. So when we look at EAE, we look at wanting to bring in students who have been doing well in their studies, doing well in their CCA involvement, but have a clearer idea that they want to pursue a particular area of study in an applied field. So whether it be in business, life sciences, design, engineering, humanities, social sciences, and IT. We are interested to get to know you and bring you in for that. So for those who are in Set 4 now, or Set 5 now, and you're going to take your O-level examination at the end of this year, the application date, as you could see here, is from the 25th of June to 1st of July. Do take note of the dates because it falls, the starting date falls on the Thursday of your last week of June holidays into the Wednesday when you start school again, first week of term 3. Okay? So that's for O-levels group. For those who are in final year ITE, then your application period is going to start next week, 11th to 17th of June. For students here and parents of children who are in secondary 3 and lower, the EAE for you will be in the year when you sit for the national examination. Okay? For example, if you're in Set 3 now, then you can do the EAE next year before you sit for the SEC examination. Okay? So these dates are for those taking O-level this year and those who are in final year ITE. When you put in your application, you will be asked to put in 3 choices. The 3 choices can be from the same polytechnic, like Temasek Poly, or it can be across different polytechnics. For example, if you're interested in a diploma in business, Temasek Poly offers a diploma in business. Other polys also may offer something similar. You can decide if you want to put TP, diploma in business, first choice, another poly course in business, second choice, then a third poly course in business, third choice. Okay, so it's up to you. Can be within the same poly or across. Now, following from that, the Polytechnic will look through all the application and call up one group of students for further assessment. And we call that shortlisting. And that shortlisting will take place over July and August. Okay, so we will call in a group, and sometimes we call in all the applicants, come in, join us, and go through the aptitude test first. Then from the aptitude test, we may shortlist even another group to come in for the interview and the portfolio review. So that's done over July and August. The offer will be made, and you need to check your application outcome online. Please take note of the dates, okay, the period for you to check. You need to go back and check the outcome. Because if you're offered and you do not check and you do not accept it online, then the place will be lapsed. Okay, the offer will be lapsed. So it's important, once you put in the application in June, go back in 8th of September, check the outcome to see whether you're offered. If you're offered, you need to accept the offer in order for the place to be locked in. Okay? Now, following from 8th September, you can still decide if you want to drop out. Before you sit for the O-level examination for the secondary school students, you can say, oh no, now I want to keep my options open for next year. You can choose to withdraw from the EAE offer in October. But if you do not withdraw, then the place is again locked in. Then we wait for the final O-level results to come out. Okay? And I'll talk more about that later on. Good. Let's go into some details. Okay. When you put in the application, for each of the 3 choices, you have to indicate why you chose that course. There's going to be an application write-up, 600 characters, not 600 words. Character meaning each and every letter and space, 600 characters, for you to put in why you're applying for that course. What is your interest? How have you developed yourself in the area? Some examples of your applied learning, whether you're learning on your own, certain courses you have attended in school or outside of school, your CCA involvement, and so on. Beyond the 600 characters, write out for each one. If you're applying for 3 courses that are very similar, your write-up can be similar too. If you're applying for 3 courses that are somewhat different, then your write-up should be different as well, okay? So it has to do with that course that you're applying for. Now, beyond that, there's going to be a final write-up of 1,000 character maximum for you to indicate your CCA involvement, how you develop yourself in leadership, and so on. Okay, so some examples. If you want to, you can take a snapshot of it. Whatever you decide to put in, please put in something that is reflective of who you are and your own interests, okay? Put in some of the key points. You can put it through ChatGPT or other AI platform and refine it. That's fine. But please don't ask Chat to create something for you that is not you. Because when we do call you in for interview, we may want to understand you further based on your write-up. Okay? So here is a case of a student who is interested in business, and he has started looking at how business work by being involved in just simple activities like fundraising, okay? Or looking at how he has gotten involved in sales and doing marketing strategy. Simple things like part-time work can come into play as well, because it shows us how you have been involved in other areas and what you have learned from that. Another example, okay, someone who have an interest in life science and pursued it by being involved in projects, as well as outside of school, being involved in community service. And how that involvement in community service can also build up her interest or his interest in life sciences, okay? Okay, once we call you up and come in for interview, aptitude test, and to review your portfolio, what we'll be interested in is to look at your aptitude, interest, and passion for the course. So when we do assessment, this is what we'll be looking at, and we may go beyond the academic results. So, first of all, when it comes to interviews, portfolio, and aptitude tests, a lot of it will be done on-site in TP. We will invite you in to come and join us on campus and sit for an aptitude test, or come in for the interview and show us your portfolio. But some areas may be done online. If it's done online, we will send to your email the details of the link for you to upload your portfolio online or to come in online for an aptitude test. So very important, once you're putting your application in June, come early July, please keep a lookout for emails sent to your email account. Okay, for students here, check your emails. we have very often students who write into us and say they missed the aptitude test because they did not check their email. And once the aptitude test has been conducted, we cannot go and run another one because we have moved on to do the interviews. Okay, so it's important. Check your email account. Check your junk mail folder in case your setting push our emails over to your trash bin. Okay, so check that. Okay, when you come in for interview, here are some pointers. Do come early, come prepared, come with your portfolio to show us. And please be prepared when you come in. The interview is not meant to be like a job interview, okay? So no need to be nervous about it. Come, because what we are going to do is we're going to have a chat. We would like to find out more about you, find out more about your interests. Just have to read up more about the course that you applied for and you're coming for interview for, so that you can share more about your interests. But we're not going to grill you on your understanding of certain areas in that particular field, because that's for you. When you join us, we will train you in those areas. But we want to find out more about you and your interests. Okay, so come in, prepare, at least read up about what our course has to offer to you. Some examples of questions that we may ask. Okay, why do you apply for us? Why do you apply to us for that course? Please do not tell us that you're worried about the O-levels, even though it's true many a times. Because we know that will be the case, so no need to tell us. Even if you're worried about the O-levels, you want to lay into the course first, it's okay. Just tell us why you chose that course in terms of your interest in that field of study. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Any thoughts about your further studies? Any thoughts about areas of work that you want to explore in the future? Your portfolio. Okay, for your portfolio, put together the works that you've done, especially if you're interested in design or if you're interested in informatics and IT. What have you done in that area? Can be something simple like your drawing, your sketches, photograph you have taken. For IT, it can be a simple app that you have created, something that you've done online, created a web page, and so on. Put that in, whether it be a soft copy online or hard copy printed out, get it ready, or hard copy that we have done, get it ready in your portfolio. Your involvement in community, in work, part-time work, you can put down those as well. Very important, okay? Our EAE guide. In the EAE guide, it has all the details, much more than what I've shared in the last 10 minutes. And the EAE guide also will go down into specific detail. If you're interested in diploma in psychology studies, for example, what is it that we'll be asking you when it comes to interview? What are the areas? What are the possible questions that we'll be asking you? It is in the EAE guide. What kind of aptitude test will you sit for psychology studies or gerontology? It is in the EAE guide, down to that specific diploma. And it's the same for each and every courses for the other schools as well. Okay, we go down into a lot of specifics so that you come prepared to showcase who you are and what you're capable of. Okay? So we're very, very transparent about how we go through our selection process. In fact, next week, we're going to be doing workshop on how you can prepare better for the EAE process. Okay, you can go online, check it out on those areas. Okay, but check out our EAE guide. I want to finish off with 2 slides. First of all, when you're offered a place and you have accepted it and did not withdraw, there is still a final point you have to clear, and that is with your O-level results. You still need to do well for your O-levels. Because when your O-level results come out, you must meet our minimum entry requirements. Meaning that for O-level students, your aggregate scores of 5 subjects, English, 2 relevant subjects, and 2 best, must be 26 points and below. As long as you get that 26 points and below and meet our subject requirements, meaning English, either a C6 or D7, depending on the course. Mathematics, a C6 or D7, depending on the course. Then the relevant subject, a pass, and so on. Even if you are 26-pointer for O levels, and our cutoff point for next year, joint admission exercise, JAE, even if our cutoff point is 10 points, but you are 26-pointer and meet our MER, your place is confirmed for EAE. Okay? That's how it works. But you must meet the minimum, okay? The 26 points and the required C6 or D7 for the respective subjects. And for higher NITEC students from ITE, you need to meet a final GPA of 2.5 based on your final results. Last slide, okay. We know we have parents here with children who are in Set 3 or even Set 2, Set 1. So EAE is not meant for you this year, but you can do, for the Set 3 group, you can do the EAE. If you're doing the G3 group of subjects, you can do the EAE next year. For parents with children who are doing mainly G2 subjects, then there are multiple progression paths beyond the Singapore Cambridge Secondary Education Certificate Examination, the SEC exams. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to run a special seminar on the 25th of July. Okay? So for those of you, parents with children in Set 3 and lower secondary education, come and join us for the full SBB seminar. We're looking at the multiple pathways beyond the SEC examination. Okay? Multiple pathways, whether it be JC, MI, Polytechnic education, ITE. Then we'll be also looking at the different admission exercises available for you. Okay? On top of that, we'll look at the entry requirements into JC, MI, Polytechnic, diplomas, Polytechnic Foundation Program, ITE. Okay? And we will have an extended time of Q&A just to address your specific situation or specific questions that you may have. So on the 25th of July, for those of you in that category, join us for the full SBB seminar. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Sung. I'm sure that segment gave everyone valuable insights on how to secure a spot in your preferred course and polytechnic. Like what Mr. Sung previously mentioned, for any more information that you require, feel free to visit TP's website to download TP's EAE guide.
We're excited for our next segment where you'll hear from two very special guests, Yu Jing, an aviation management graduate who entered TP through EAE, and her father, Andy. Together, they'll share with you about their EAE journey, including how they prepared for the process, overcame challenges, and their lessons learned along the way. Without further ado, please join us in welcoming on stage our moderator, Sebastian Sim, School of Engineering graduate, Yu Jing, and her father, Andy.
Hi, very good morning, everyone. So nice to see so many of you here this morning itself. Now, my name is Sebastian Sim. Parents, if you're looking for a place that's going to give your child the best start to the next chapter in their academic journey, or students, if you are, looking for a place that's going to allow you to engage in your passions, then you've come to the right place. Now, of course, I may be biased, but it is a daunting task, isn't it? I mean, navigating through the numerous opportunities, the processes like what Chun Ling shared earlier on, it can get a little overwhelming. But thankfully, we've got this daughter-father duo who went through the same EAE process, who sat where you are sitting just not too long ago. And they are very happy today to share with you some life hacks on how we can best nail this milestone. So Yu Jing is the one closest to me, as the MC shared earlier on. She just recently graduated from the School of Engineering with a diploma in aviation management, and she came through the EAE process. And furthest from me, Andy, the father, the rock, supporting Yuting's journey thus far. Now, Yuting, Andy, welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let's dive straight into it. Now, I learned that both your parents, Yuting, were from the aviation industry, but you actually killed their careers right from the start. What happened there?
I always like to tell people that my parents are from aviation, yes. However, because when I came along, both of them actually had to step away from that career to actually take care of me. However, I still spent a lot of time growing up at the airport. My cousins and my grandfather always brought me to Changi Airport, and we hung around Terminal 3 basement, where there used to be a playground there. So I did spend a lot of time there, and I thought that it was a really nice place to go to work. And I also had my first interaction with the pilots, because every time you go to the airport, you would always get to see pilots returning or departing from flights. So that was kind of where my first inspiration to join aviation came from.
So it's not just about continuing your parents' legacy or picking up from where they left off because of you.
No.
Andy, how was it like when Yuting expressed to you that, Dad, I want to get into the aviation industry?
Well, I always know since she's young that she wanted to see the world, right? So we went many trips to airport or even overseas trip. I can see that, she's always happy and very curious about different places, different culture. So it doesn't come to me as a surprise when she wanted to do AMS, right?
Now, Yuting, you could have gone the traditional route, applying for the course that you won through the Joint Admissions exercise. Why EAE?
I chose the EAE path because it was one of those rare chances you get to be seen for your passion and aptitude for the course rather than just your academic grades. For context, my Sec 4 prelims was about 34, my L1, R2, B2. So I wasn't particularly proud about that. But I knew that I really, really wanted to join TPAMS. So I looked at the EAE route as it kind of gives you a chance to actually be admitted for the passion for the course, which was what I really had at the time.
We heard what Chunling shared earlier on, the entire process, starting from the application write-up, the aptitude test, the portfolio they got to prepare, the interview they got to sit for. I've been on the EAE assessment panel, and I know what it's like on my end. But as a student who has gone through that, how do you even prepare for something as crazy as that?
For a student, definitely the work starts really early on, as early as Sec 3, Sec 4. I had to do research into which course I wanted to go into and which poly, especially because certain courses are offered across different polys. So I had to really research exactly which school and which course, which landed me in Temasek Polytechnic, AMS. However, after that, you had to go into deeper research into what the course offers, what specializations, what internship opportunities, so that I know exactly what to put in my personal statement and my portfolio. And work started around my June holiday, so about now, where I actually had to gather all of my experiences in secondary school into a personal statement and a portfolio to submit. Yeah.
Looking back, what was it like? The entire EAE experience.
I would say that it was a very daunting but extremely rewarding experience. I mean, going through it, it was definitely not easy, but after 3 years and graduating from TP, I think it was worth the struggle at the time to go through all of this.
Now, Andy Yuting said it's a struggle. It wasn't easy at all, the entire journey itself. As a parent, what part can we play?
Well, for us, right, she have expressed her interest early on, right? So we know that. So what we do is, besides asking her important question, right? What do you see yourself doing, right? And also, listening to the answers, and then we also check with her, based on this course of study, right? How relevant is this to your course, the lifestyle that you want to lead, the career that you want to have. And that helped crystallize what she really wants to, right? In this case, for AMS. And the other thing that we did with her is, we ran her through interview practices.
What was this interview practice like? Maybe you can share.
Because we are aware that one of the you had to pass through the interview before you are selected, right? So we came up with some questions, right? And then we get her to answer those questions. And I think this is really important because, as a 16-year-old, right, how often you get to, be interviewed, right? So I think that process helped her to polish up her answers and to be more concise. And that also gave her confidence when it comes to the interview process.
So it sounds like it's a whole family effort. It's just testament to what they say, right? It takes a village to raise a child. So the entire family was involved in the whole process.
Oh yes, so both my wife and myself, we're involved, and also, you're right, in fact, for her whole TP education journey, right, I got a sense that it's really the whole village behind her, right, taking care, and then, giving her the opportunity, giving her the trust, exposure. So we are pretty thankful for that.
So after all that work, finally you get the notice. Congratulations, you've been accepted. How did it make you feel?
It made me feel really relieved at first, but after that, it gave me the motivation to work even harder for O-levels, because after all, EAE is a chance to be admitted into the course of your choice, as long as you hit the minimum requirements. So in a way, it kind of motivated me to work as hard as I can to score as best as I can for O-levels, because I know that either way, my dream course is waiting for me, so I should just give it my best effort.
So it's not the other case where, okay, I've got my place now, I can switch off, just do the bare minimum and get through.
Definitely not. Might have thought of it at a time, but looking back, I was really thankful that I was given this chance to come into TP through EAE so that I wouldn't really have any doubts when I was studying for O-levels, like, oh, what if I get the grade but I still can't get into the course that I want? I already knew that I had my dream course waiting for me, so I should just give it my best effort.
Now, congratulations are in order for Yu Ting. I've just learned you have accepted a place at NUS, College of Humanities and Sciences. Prior to that, you were offered places at SMU, NTU as well. And not only that, once you're done with your honors degree, you've also got a job waiting for you. You have this advance offer at Changi Airport Group. So it seems that everything, your entire path since EAE through TP has set you up pretty nicely, hasn't it?
I would really say so, but that definitely wouldn't have been possible if TP didn't really accept me through EAE, and then my diploma aviation management. They really gave me the chance to kind of expose myself to industry. So I did my final year project with Changi Airport Group, and then I did my internship, and I'm currently working at the Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore. So these industry experiences and overseas experiences gave me the chance to have a better idea on what I wanted to do in the future, which was to ideally go back into aviation. And these overseas experiences and non-academic experiences that TP gave me a better idea on what I wanted to study in university. And these experiences were actually really helpful when it came to, going for your university interviews, because they were always really interested in, oh, why do you travel so much during your poly, or why do you work here during your time in poly? So I felt that my 3 years here was spent really fruitfully.
All right, so it seems 3 years here, working, studying here, and then after that, you're going to work at, Changi Airport Group itself, so your whole life practically revolves around Changi.
Yeah, I would say once I came to TP, my dad and we must have come to the east side more often than we had ever had, like for the first 16 years of my life.
All right, so I'm sure all the parents and students here, they want to hear right now, tips as a student itself. How do you best navigate and nail this whole EAE?
Personally, I would recommend do your research first and then talk to as many people as you can. especially those who might have some experience from the course of study that you want to pursue. Let's say you want to study media, talk to as many people as possible. If you can't find them in your immediate circle, social media is as accessible as ever. Consider dropping people online a DM or an email and just asking them some questions. I think the world is a really kind place. If you reach out, I'm pretty sure people will be more willing to help. After that, I also do recommend, as you previously shared, practice your interview skills. I think not just for EAE, but interview skills is a life skill, so you should really practice how you want to articulate and express your thoughts clearly. I understand it will be quite difficult as a secondary school student. That's why I also do recommend talking to your form teachers and your English teachers, because they know you best and they will be able to guide you in how to actually express yourself when you come for the EAE interview.
All right. Andy, as a parent, supporting the child, exploring options with EAE itself, any tips for the parents?
I guess it's really important for us as parents to understand the child, right, based on their strength, their ability and interest, right, and then to guide them, right, into selecting the courses that most suited, right, towards the direction. Other than that, I suppose the other role that we play is really as a supportive, part of it, right, to be there for them and then, to be their sounding board and also to practice their interview skills.
Well, Andy, Yuting, thank you for being here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for Andy and Yuting for sharing their experiences with the EAE with us. That's all the time we've got for this session. Thank you very much, Andy, Yuting. And I'm going to hand the time back over to your MCs, Shania and Rohith.
Thank you all for that impactful sharing. We have now come to the most important part of the seminar today. This is where we will be answering all your burning questions on EAE. Let's welcome our distinguished panel members on stage. First off, TP Principal and CEO Mr. Patrice Chung, as well as our two previous speakers, Ms. Kwan and Mr. Sung, back on stage.
Before we move on, a gentle reminder that if you have any questions about the EAE, please submit them via Pigeonhole. We will be addressing as many of them as we can during today's seminar. For diploma or school-specific questions, you may speak directly to our friendly host during your school tour. They'll be more than happy to share with you about your respective schools.
Well, good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Temasek Polytechnic. I think it's wonderful to see a room full of students accompanied by their parents to explore the aspirations and the careers of your children. EAE offers a very good opportunity, an early opportunity for the parents and the students to explore how they can transform their interests and aspiration into a career, and how TP can help your child achieve that aspirations and careers. If there's one thing that EAE taught us across the many years, is that oftentimes the interest and the aspirations of a student can matter more than the O-level grades that they receive. So EAE is an important step, an important exercise for you to leverage and realize the potential and the interest of your child. Before we start the panel, maybe I'll give a very brief overview of three things that TP is currently focusing on. I call them the three I's. The first I is industry. Industry is very important as an applied educational institution. TP currently have over close to 20, we call them technology centers, centers of innovation, centers of excellence, but we have about 20 of them, and they are important vehicles for us to reach out to the industry and to bring industry into the classroom, into the curriculum, into the projects, so that we ensure that our graduates, our students, when they graduate, they are work ready. They have been working with the industry day one when they start their study life in TP. Briefly, that's the first I. The second I, I call it internationalization. So beside getting our graduates to be work ready, we spend a lot of time trying to bring international exposure into their lives. So not only they are ready, but they become global professionals with a global mindset. Singapore is a tiny red dot with a huge potential, but we are also a trade hub, a finance hub, an international hub, and it's important for our graduates to know how to go out to the world and reach out the opportunities out there. We send about more than 4,000 students overseas every year on various types of trips. We have the short-term exposure trips, which is about 5 days. We have the medium-term immersion trips, which is about 2 weeks. And we have the longer-term, 5 months of internship overseas as well. In fact, just this morning, I came back from an overseas trip trying to source partners in China. I just landed at 6:30 a.m. and made my way to TP thereafter. So we are very serious in enlarging the footprint of opportunities internationally for our students. The third I is intelligence or artificial intelligence, because AI is impacting the workplace. It's also impacting how we learn. And at TP, we take a conscious effort to make sure that our students are not left behind. We teach them what is AI, about AI, how to use AI, how to apply AI in their disciplines. But more importantly, we want to give them what I call the human edge. The human skills that will help them supercharge AI, to make AI work to their advantage. And that was shared earlier a little bit by my colleague Anita. She shared about the skills transcript, which talks a lot about the human skills, the soft skills that perhaps AI cannot replicate, but that AI itself needs so that we can better leverage it in the working world. So briefly, these are the 3 I's: industry, internationalization, and artificial intelligence. I wanted to give you this brief overview before we can dive into the questions that we have.
Thanks, Patrice. You look very much alive, even though you've landed at 6:30. I just wanted to acknowledge people here, as well as in the overflow. We've got really a lot of visitors today, so in the MPH as well as 3 lecture theatres. And if you do want to submit your questions, quickly do it. But you know, Patrice is relatively new to us. It's just joined TP. And I wanted to ask you, because from TP, you were previously in another polytechnic, ITE, and you've been involved in many projects, even involving universities, right? So one of the questions here, you'll be in a very good place to answer it. What gives TP the edge? Why should people here apply to us?
So, that's right. So I've been to a few institutions before I joined TP, so I could perhaps give you a slightly comparative view of how TP sits with some other institutions. So I'll mention maybe about 3 things. The first one, I think TP is very close to the industry. So that's the first I, and there was a reason why we picked the first I. When I came here to TP, I saw the technology centers that was already established in TP, and how many industry players are already working with TP on several types of industry projects. We also receive a lot of applied research grants from the various research institutions to work with companies as well. So the closeness with industry, I think TP has a bit of an edge. The second one, I would say, is the culture. TP has a caring culture. In fact, this is the only institution that has they call the form teacher equivalent of, in your secondary school, they call it a care person here. And that truly reflects the attribute that we expect of the form teacher, but also the culture. We have also the campus care network, which is very unique to TP, where it's twice a year, students comes together, staff comes together, raise funds for fellow students who are in need. So the care culture is very much vibrant. You speak to the teachers, it comes to life, right? I used to say, I didn't really understand the care culture until I come to TP and understand how staff and students, staff put the students first and foremost in their decision making. The third one, which is very important, is the campus vibrancy. I think just now my colleague Anita shared the number of CCAs we offered, the opportunities that they have to go overseas, to compete in competitions, to be trained, whether it's world skills competitions or whether it's poly and IT competitions in terms of sports. I think the campus vibrancy is very much alive here. Case in point, I think we mentioned about Jun An just now, where he was given the opportunity to create his own CCA because of an interest he has in drone soccer. Right? We didn't have it, we gave him the opportunity, and now we have a CCA on drone soccer. These are the opportunities that I think we can unblock with your students, and I think briefly, being close with the industry, having a care culture, and campus vibrancy is what I would say sets TP apart.
Maybe I also like to add that in terms of the student care support, we also have a lot of counselors. We do acknowledge that with special needs, and also mental wellness issues happening, not just the care persons, but it's fully supported by a huge range of staff in this area. In fact, I recall one of our graduates this year, very special needs, paraplegic, and we transform or change sort of change the classroom in order to fit, our students with needs. Okay, this one seems to be a very popular one. Junling, you are the star now. What if I have no experience about the course I've chosen, very interested in? It's really about the portfolio, right? So essentially, what is TP looking for in the submission? What are the common mistakes? What are the pitfalls? I think it's how to foolproof my application. This is essentially what they're asking.
Okay, thank you for the question. Now, in terms of preparing the portfolio, focus more on what you have gone through in secondary school, within the school, or outside of the school. Simple things can be what you have participated in CCA and what you have learned from the CCA. Okay, so that's one. Then secondly, whether you have participated in other activities, events within the school. It can be a fun fair, it can be where you help out to organize something like a sports day. You can indicate those in as well, how you have contributed and what you have learned from it. Even if you have not done part-time work, it's okay, because you may have gone for certain type of training, or you might have attended workshops related to applied learning. So those evidences of those participation can also come into the portfolio. Now beyond that, if you have an interest in a course, tell us how you have pursued it. So you have read something online, you have read a book on that area, you have done some research, you have not done any, there's still time for you to do so over this month. Find out something, and then put down, tell us what you have learned, and put down some evidences of it, and you can include that in the portfolio.
Okay. I was waiting for this question to come up, and it has in this form. Either of you can take it. Please address the stigma that a high number of poly students do not qualify for a local uni. And if a poly graduate falls short into getting a local uni, she joins the workforce, but what can one do? So I suppose we can share more about the possible pathways employability, as well as our university pathway progression. Anyone would like to take it?
Okay. TP, I think I would maybe address the thinking first. I think prior to having 6 autonomous universities, I would say that the number of polytechnic students going to universities was not as many. But that was a 20-year, 15 to 20-year affair. Today we have 6 autonomous universities, and for TP, about 50% of our students will progress to universities right after graduation. And if you take another dipstick survey, maybe 5 years down the road, right, beyond the 50%, maybe another 10 to 15%, right, goes to universities another 5 years down the road. So that's quite considerable, and it's quite a big change from the past. The universities actually value our polytechnic students. The feedback we have constantly been receiving is that polytechnic students contributes significantly to the classes by bringing their practical skills to the labs, right? Whether it's engineering, information technology, computer science, their skills to the labs complements those of the students coming from JC. And the last part I'm going to make is, if you look at our website, you will see that a lot of our courses currently now offers university pathway programs, where during your 3 years of studies with us, you have the opportunity to take some modules at the university, year 1 modules at the university, while still being 3rd year in the Polytechnic. So we have a close partnership with the universities. Yeah, maybe Chun.
Thank you. And the other aspects of developing our students, not just in life skills and the domain skills, we prepare them for university studies, yes, but very importantly, we are looking at preparing them well and setting them well for a future of good success in their future career as well as for their life. So beyond looking at university qualification, a lot of times how well a person can experience success in life and at workplace, it's not just on paper qualification. It's in terms of the skills mastery. So a lot of our training that goes on within our diploma has to do with building up that skills, that set of skills that will help them. So a lot of our courses will also prepare them for certification with the industry certificates. For example, in aerospace engineering and aerospace electronics, we are preparing them also for SAT or the Tensor type of qualification. Then our IT courses, they will also be prepared for certain types of industry-related certificates. Okay, so that's part of our training. So a lot of our students, apart from going for further studies at the university, may also pursue specialist diplomas back in Temasek Poly or in other places. Okay, so all that helps in terms of their career advancements.
Yeah, I was going to ask further about the employability part of it, because we've talked about the university pathway, but I think a good proportion of our graduates also want to go into employment. So maybe you could share a little bit more about the adult education landscape and how we handle that here. So it's not just coming for a 3-year diploma, but beyond that, what is TP doing to upskill our students, graduates? Yeah.
This is the primary mission of the Polytechnic, actually, is to send students out to work, right? And that's why I talk about the first I. We need to make sure that our curriculum is always industry relevant, and that's why the partnership with industry is very close. So gone are the days where we teach purely from textbook, purely from an academic perspective. Today we partner industry very closely. The industry professionals come on campus, teach for our students, criticize their projects, give them feedback, and that's important to us because we make sure then by the time they graduate, they are work relevant. Industry certification is another way that we make sure that our curriculum is very up to date, that when our graduates finishes their studies, they already have some industry certification that puts them apart from the rest of the graduates. That is important to us. When they are graduating as well, upon finishing their 3 years, we also recently launched a refreshed version of Career Kickstarter, where we help them in their process of interviewing for jobs, in the process of applying for jobs. If they are unsure what to do, they need some guidance, we also provide this kind of guidance. So in a nutshell, what I wanted to share is that we try our best to work with the students to prepare them for what the industry is looking for and to help them walk the journey of employability in the industry.
Okay, I'm half a mind whether I should publish this question, but it's actually got quite a number of votes. And this question, do you sell Dubai Chewy cookie in this campus? I know, right? It's quite an odd question. But I was thinking about it. Actually, these things are important to the students. You asked about the focal point in TP. It would be the Golden Arches. We're the only poly, I believe, right, Patrice, that has McDonald's on campus. And it's a hangout place. So I put this up because we do want to share that part of the poly life is you get wonderful food selection. Not just that, but because we have a culinary program and we have a nutrition program, you get nutritious food in our bistro, and you get to dine at Top Table, which is a fine dining restaurant, all done by students, on top of all the other canteens we have. Walk across the bridge, and again, food galore. You know I'm very passionate about this area, right? But in terms of Dubai Chewy chocolate, can we take note? Our colleagues here, can you please experiment with this and put it on a menu in one of our restaurants, yeah? So definitely, food is an important part of our culture. Not to worry, you're well taken care of. Yeah.
So maybe, Anita, I'll mention just one thing. I know it's a casual remark on the Dubai chocolates and all this, but it is a reflection of one point that I thought is good to highlight here. I've been an educator for over 20 years, right? And one thing I can say for sure is whatever we learn in the 3 years during your polytechnic days, at some point in time, you will need to relearn things because things change. So your curriculum actually is not that important in the sense that in the long run, the mindsets you develop are more important. The attributes you develop are more important. The friendships you make are more important. And that's why I wanted to bring to this point of the campus vibrancy point, the campus life. I think sometimes, I'm a parent myself, and sometimes we focus a lot on the curriculum, the academic aspect, which it is important for sure. It has to be industry relevant and all that. But in the long run, I know that I have a daughter who is also doing O-level this year, by the way. So I know that in the long run for her, I want her to go into institutions that campus vibrancy is important. She will make friends, she will have memories, she will know, she will develop herself beyond just the academics. Her social skills will be developed, her human skills will be developed. She will know how to network, how to take interviews, how to approach people on the streets, how to solve problems. I think these are very important parts. And somehow this Dubai Chewy chocolate reminded me on this point.
I wanted to follow up with that, Patrice, because you have been meeting with groups of students since joining us. What have you seen in them and heard from them that makes you really affirm that, wow, life or the education that we provide in a polytechnic and in TP specifically is really preparing them for the future, because that's what we are all about, right?
So I meet with a group of students maybe every quarter. These are various groups of students that I meet, and I have questions for them usually. I always ask them, what is the most memorable moment that you have in TP? Typically, these are not year 1 students. They are end of year 2 or year 3 students. So they have had some years in TP. So I ask them, what is your most memorable moment in TP? And I must say it differs from group to group. When I speak to the sportsmen, the CCA enthusiasts, they will talk about the grit, the grit of teamwork, of winning the competition, the discipline that they have to make, and the moment they clinch the medal. In fact, some of them talk about their losses as well as the most memorable teaching moment. And it shows a certain level of maturity in that. So that's for the athletes. You can see it's about the people that they work with to achieve something. Then I speak to the scholars, right? I speak to the scholars as well, and I ask them, what's your most memorable moment? And none of them will say, I did this project, and this project was great. Most of them will talk about maybe their overseas trips as well, where they spent 2 weeks in some remote part of ASEAN, painting a school or raising some funds for overseas. And these are their most memorable moments because they develop a lot of their skills that otherwise would be hard for them to develop, and they recognize it for themselves. So I would say that these offers glimpses to me that a polytechnic education is far beyond what we teach in the class, but the culture and the campus life that we offer.
And that's what we mean by creating tomorrow. It's really more important that piece of paper, that certificate. Okay, Chun Ling, I believe this is yours. It's about the common program. If the child is offered a place in the common program for the first year, will they need to go through a selection process when choosing a specific diploma second year?
Okay, thank you. So for common entry program, certain schools will have common entry programs for 1 semester. Certain schools will have it over a year. Towards the end of that 1 semester or 1 year, the students will put in their choices as to which course they want to move on to for their diploma study. So they'll put in their choices, and when they indicate their choices, they'll rank them. My first choice is to go into first diploma, my second choice is these others. And we will, within the school, what they will do is they will put aside enough places to cater as much as possible to everyone who wants their first choice, okay? But there are cases where certain courses may be very popular, and there are a lot more students wanting it than the number of classes that can open up, number of places available. Now, in those cases, then there'll be the allocation based on students' results, what we call the grade point average. So based on results, students with better results will get the place first. Those who may not have done as well will get their second choice, okay? But as far as possible, we want to cater to everyone's interest and based on their first choice, and then we will try and open up as many places as we can. Now, if a student were to get allocated something that he may not be as interested in, there's still the avenue for them to put in the appeal, and the school can then look at the appeal, consider their interest, also consider their strength in certain modules or other areas that may be more suitable for the students to be given back to their first choice. So that can be done as well, okay?
This is a related question because it's less than a month before EAE. So the question is, assuming they've not started a portfolio, what happens now? Start now? Is it too late? Is it like, oh, alamak, more chance already?
Okay, there's still time. because application is over the next couple of weeks or next 3 weeks for the O-levels group, take care of the write-up first. There's the application write-up of the 600 characters for each choices, for each of the choices, and then you have the 1,000 character write-up. Take care of that first. That one can be done very quickly. Do your write-up, do a draft, put it through AI, refine it, then get ready to submit your application. There will be a stage for shortlisting before you get invited to come in for the aptitude test, interview, and portfolio review. And that will be in July. So you still have a bit of time to put together that. Look at our EAE guide, come for our workshop to guide you through how you can better prepare for those. So you do have time. And I think you already have some materials that you can put together quite quickly for your portfolio. Okay? Certificates of participation in workshops or training from schools, areas that you have participated in CCA, and you have your CCA records. So all this can be ready quite fast. Okay. Yeah.
And to sign up for all the courses and workshops that are available in TP, right? Yeah. Patrice, you want to say something?
Maybe on this point, I take up my hat as the principal and CEO of Temasek Poly. I put on my parents' hat because my daughter is also in doing her O-level, and when I asked her, so what would you like to study? She wants to go to the Polytechnic for sure. So I said, which course would you like to take? And she wasn't sure. And maybe some of you are in this zone now, where your son, your daughter is not sure. Is this for me? Is this course for me? I'm not sure. It says, I'm not sure what I'm interested in. So this is something I did with my daughter, and it may be of help to you. So I told my daughter, I make an appointment with her actually, but she's very busy. So I say, please give me 2 hours of your time. So we sat together, and I said, let's bring your report book. And we list down every activity that was recorded in the report book. And we list down activities that we can recall that she did outside of schools, right? So after we have the whole list, then we try to classify what did she like about this activity, what she didn't like. And from all this, doing this audit, it was a little bit laborious, but through that, she kind of emerges, she kind of understands what she tends to like better and what she clearly didn't like. And now that she has a little bit of greater clarity of what she likes, and it may not be one thing, it can be 2 things, right? It could be, like for my daughter, engineering and psychology. She'd be like 2 things, which is fine, but she clearly says, I don't like accounting, dealing with how money flows, I don't like those. So she kind of, you will know a little bit what she likes, what she don't like. And then from then, you can help to, from the activities you did, build a portfolio based on what my colleague Chun Lin said. So I hope this will be helpful.
It's like what Andy said, it's a whole kampong, right, that's involved in it. Wow, this father also got a skills transcript at home. But it's useful. And a lot of people say that, easy for you all because you're educators, you can advise your children better. Actually, not necessarily true, right? Sometimes it could be harder because your child may not necessarily want to listen to you. But I know a lot of parents here, and in fact, I was speaking to some outside, the interest in university progression. We did talk about university progression just now, but I think now they're asking really about the chances of getting into university. Maybe you'd like to share some of these figures. What are the chances for someone from TP going into the university? And we've seen an upward trend of our graduates heading to university education, but maybe some thoughts on that.
Okay, chances, I think it very much depends on, to me, very often we ask students and ask parents to consider as well 3 aspects. One will be your interest. Is pursuing a degree program at the university in a local autonomous university your area of interest and the particular field that you want to get into for the degree program. Secondly, aptitude for that course of study. And thirdly, in terms of your learning needs, would that particular area be fitting the type of training they provide in line with your learning needs? In terms of chances of getting in, as mentioned by Patrice, we have about 50% of our students moving on directly upon graduation for the ladies. For the guys who have to serve national service immediately after the 2 years of NS. Half of them do move on to the local university. Some may say, I want to move on to the industry first, because why? I need to learn more about which area of work I would want to specialize in further. Okay? So they go to work first for a year or two, even though they do qualify for university, to go out to work first, learn more about the area of the careers that they want to pursue before they decide on the degree program to move on to. And then with that, we do see about 60% of our students moving on subsequently. Some may say, what I'm interested in may not be available in the local university. I may want to go and work first, earn some money with the support of the parents, then move on to a foreign university to specialize in something that you cannot find here. Okay? So that's one area. As I mentioned just now, the other area is move on to upgrade your skills in other areas through industry certification, through CET courses, and be a master of that area that goes beyond university degree. Yeah. So chances is good. We have a lot of students now about to start off their university studies after graduating in April and May. But a lot of them, when I look at them, I remember I spoke to a student, Tiffany. She's moving on to NUS to do psychology. But for her, it's not just about pursuing a degree. When she was here with us, she was focusing more on developing her skills. And she was awarded our Skills Mastery Award for the school. Why? Because she has honed her skills to a degree where she could do very well in competition, do very well in presentation, and so on. Okay? So go beyond looking at academic results, but look at overall development. How else can you upgrade in skills? How else can you upgrade in terms of life skills? How else can you build up a good network that will help you in the future?
Yeah, I think as the education sector matures, and also employers in the audience, we increasingly recognize that education is not just about that piece of paper, and as Patrice has shared, it's about the life skill, what is really important, and that future orientation. There are questions that are very specific to diploma courses here, so I would strongly encourage you as you go into the schools to ask those specific questions at the schools that you have chosen to visit. Speak to our staff, speak to our students who are there, because it's really nothing like hearing it from them. We can say as much as possible here, but just like Andy and daughter, right? When you hear from actual lived experience, that becomes real. So I'm going to close the session, but before the final closure, maybe I can invite Patrice to share some of your closing thoughts about really what TP is about, what is so important about EAE, why should our friends here consider coming in to TP via EAE?
Yeah, so maybe just some closing thoughts here. I think first thing I would say that I would like to maybe remind myself that the lesson that EAE taught us is that the aspirations and the interests of your child can matter more than the O-level grades. And EAE is a very good platform then to help explore how we can realize this passion and this aspiration of your child through the programs and offerings at TP. In considering that, What I've put forth is 3 things. One is consider the campus life, the vibrancy that TP has. Second thing, the care culture that TP has. And the third thing was the industry part, how relevant we are. We think that these 3 are very important aspects in a child when he develops himself in the next 3 years during the course of study, and we hope that this will help put your child, put it in a good state when they graduate and to look forward. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here. We hope it's been useful for you, but all the more I hope you get to enjoy the TP vibrancy and the TP warmth. We're going to be here as well, so if there are questions that you'd like to approach any of us, please feel free to. The school directors are here as well, so we're happy to be part of this. Yeah. But for now, I think are the MCs, Rohit and Shania, you're going to come up to give some instructions? Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chung, Ms. Kwan, and Mr. Sung for that engaging and informative session. I'm sure everyone here, as well as those tuning in via the live streams, have gained valuable insights to support your EAE journey. For students who have a clear interest in a particular field of study, EAE is absolutely the way to go. It gives you a pathway to enter a particular field of study that you have an interest in and that aligns perfectly with your strengths and aspirations.
We've also got some really exciting news. Starting 8 June, we'll be running a series of EAE workshops. These sessions will provide you with useful tips on building your portfolio and preparing for your EAE interview. Slots are filling up quickly, so be sure to sign up as soon as possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? We will commence the school tours shortly, so I kindly request everyone to remain seated and to not leave the convention center until further information has been given out. So please remain seated and we will get to the school tours in a second.
Before you go, we'd also love to hear your thoughts on today's seminar. So do take a moment to fill up the feedback form by scanning the QR code shown on the screen. And as a token of appreciation from us, you may collect a McDonald's voucher from our student helpers after your school tour. With that, we've come to the end of today's seminar. Thank you everyone for joining us. We hope you have had a meaningful and enriching experience, and we look forward to welcoming you into the TP family. And now, we move on to the next exciting part of the day, our school tours.
Thank you, Shania. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention once again? For everyone's safety and to ensure a smooth transition,